On my birthday, my mother-in-law whispered to her son, "While everyone is here, go and change the locks of his house." An hour later, he returned, pale as a ghost, and quietly said, "Mom, there, before we continue, don't forget to write in the comments which country you're from and how old you are. Enjoy listening." The house was alive with the kind of vibrant chaos that only a milestone birthday could bring. It was my 35th, and our modest two-story colonial in the quiet suburbs was packed to the brim with family, friends, and neighbors, all gathered to celebrate me. Fairy lights cast a golden glow across the living room, their soft hues dancing off the colorful streamers I'd spent hours pinning up with my husband, Mark. The dining table was a feast for the senses, my signature lasagna, still steaming in its ceramic dish, sat beside a towering three-tiered chocolate cake, its frosting gleaming under the chandelier. Bottles of red wine and craft beer clinked in toasts, and the air was thick with the mingled scents of marinara, sugar, and the faint jasmine perfume of the candles I'd lit. Laughter rippled through the crowd, punctuated by the upbeat rhythm of a jazz playlist Mark had curated for the night. Mark was in his element, moving through the guests with a boyish grin, pouring drinks and slicing cake. His dark hair fell into his eyes as he laughed at his uncle's tired jokes, and every time he glanced my way, I felt a warmth that grounded me. This was our life, hard-won, imperfect, but ours. I stood by the fireplace, a glass of wine in hand, watching him weave through the crowd, feeling like the luckiest woman alive. But not everyone was caught up in the festive spirit. My mother-in-law, Evelyn, stood apart, a solitary figure near the back of the living room. She was a tall, wiry woman, her sharp features framed by a severe bob of graying hair. Her eyes, cold and calculating, scanned the room like a hawk sizing up its prey. In the 10 years I had been married to Mark, Evelyn had never warmed to me. To her, I was the outsider, the woman who'd stolen her son, a perpetual disappointment who'd never live up to her impossible standards. Tonight, she clutched a glass of red wine, her lips pursed in that familiar disapproving line, her gaze darting between me and her daughter, Emily, Mark's younger sister. Emily was 28, slight and nervous, with a fidgety energy that made her seem younger than her years. She stood beside Evelyn, her hands twisting the hem of her oversized sweater, her eyes flicking toward me as Evelyn whispered something in her ear. I couldn't hear their words over the chatter and music, but the intensity of their exchange sent a chill down my spine. Evelyn's hand gripped Emily's arm, her knuckles white, and her eyes met mine for a fleeting moment. Cold, sharp, and unmistakably hostile. A knot formed in my stomach, a quiet warning that something was off. I tried to shake it off. It was my birthday, after all, and Mark was by my side, his arm brushing against mine as he leaned in to kiss my cheek. "Happy birthday, love," he said, his voice warm and teasing, chasing away the unease. I smiled, determined not to let Evelyn's icy presence ruin the night. But as the party rolled on, I noticed Emily slip out the back door, her movements quick and furtive, like a shadow slipping into the night. Nobody else seemed to notice, but Evelyn watched her go, a faint smirk tugging at the corner of her mouth. My unease deepened, rooting itself in my chest. The next hour passed in a blur of celebration. Mark's cousins recounted their latest hiking misadventure, their gestures wild and their laughter loud. My coworker Sarah, ever the wine enthusiast, was trying to convince everyone to try her latest find, waving a bottle like a preacher with a sermon. My parents were deep in conversation with Mark's aunt, reminiscing about old family vacations. But my mind kept drifting back to Emily's absence and Evelyn's whispered words. What were they up to? Why had Emily left without a word? And why did Evelyn look so smug